Well, guys, we have 19 participants. That looks good. I think it's time to get started. First of all, here's the list. And Charlotte and Megan, we saw their presentation on Monday, as well as the one from Adam and Alex on Stonehenge. And so today we're going to take a look at the Parthenon from Grayson Brady, Joshua and Austin, the Temple of Zeus at Olympia, Tina and Isabel, the Eritrea, I can't even say that, Erythrium, excuse me. Portia and Peter doing the Chimera, and Dorian and Brandon doing the Great Wall. I put these dots here. Natalie and Daphne, Grace, Amanda, and Grace. I got a problem. You guys put these on Google Docs, but I don't have access to that. I can't get into your Google Docs. And so I tried to get in. They should have sent you a permission thing. And we'll work on recovering those and we'll play those on Monday. So, let's get started. And okay, we saw this one Monday. We haven't seen this one yet.
There should be another link to it, the second link I sent you.
I just gave you access to I just accepted the access for the presentation.
Guys, I think he left.
I think he actually disconnected because on my screen he froze and then he disappeared.
Yeah, he's not even on a participant as mine anymore.
Not that our professor just left.
He was having trouble with his computer before class started, so maybe he had to restart it.
Guess we'll just stay on and stare at nothing.
Sounds like a plan.
What if he doesn't even realize that he's gone?
I don't doubt that.
I can try to email him through Canvas.
I mean, he went through an entire class one day without realizing that he never joined a Zoom, so I wouldn't be surprised.
I feel bad for laughing, but that is kind of funny.
Oh no, it's very funny. Don't worry about it. Grace, he made you the host?
I think he made her the host because she was the first person that joined after he did. So the second person that joined becomes the host.
Gotcha.
That's what happened in my USIM one time.
Yeah, it's just an auto host thing.
Would that mean that if he joined back in, she'd have to accept his request for him to be the host again?
No, it should automatically make him the host because he's the creator of the meeting.
Okay. Megan, do you want to try to email him just in case?
Yeah, I'm emailing him right now.
So how was everyone's Thanksgiving?
Mine was pretty good. We spent some time at home, just me and my parents. We also cooked food for my grandparents, and then we took it over to them. So we didn't actually get together and expose everyone.
That's smart.
Nothing about Thanksgiving, but high key am playing Mario Kart while on Zoom right now.
That is such a mood.
I mean, it's not like you have to
player.
pay attention anyway.
Oh
True.
yeah, because it's just a recording.
In all honesty, I play Animal Crossing sometimes while I'm listening.
Yes.
I have a quick question. Is anyone in the USIM Wicked Education at 3:30 today?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, what did you do how did you do your PowerPoint or your final? Did you do it on a PowerPoint and did you actually like make a video?
I started a Prezi, but I begged Alicia to give me till Monday to finish it, and she's letting me have till Monday.
That is so nice. 'Cause I'm not gonna lie, I haven't even started it. I don't even know how to start it. I don't even know what to do. I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea.
I thought it was about a day ago, but then I just kind of started putting stuff together, and like I'm hoping it's all right.
I might just put mine on like a PowerPoint and just like click some YouTube videos for the music. Because other than that, I have no idea what to do. Hopefully, it'll turn out okay.
I sent him an email. I'm just gonna like keep refreshing and hopefully he sees it.
Do you think he's just playing our videos right now?
Oh, it says he's the host now. I think he's back.
Okay, I'm back. I tried to, somebody had said that they had another link and I tried to get it, but it knocked me off of this and I don't know who said that, but anyway.
Oh yeah, it was
What?
me. It was me. I sent you a second link and it's like a YouTube link to our presentation.
Okay, I didn't find that. But I did get, and if I can go with this, from Natalie, I got your permission to get to your Google Docs. And so thanks for sending that. And my apologies. One of the things that happens when you get knocked off of Zoom is that it asks you for a bunch of information like the meeting ID and all that stuff. So, and thank you, Megan, for doing the email because I wouldn't have known. So, should we try this again? And thank you, Grace. I see it there. And let me copy. Okay. Share screen. I'm thinking this one would probably be it. And if I could go up and start there. Maybe. Now, all this stuff worked before. Okay, we'll start with this one. This is where we were. And let's get it started.
Professor,
Yes.
I somehow recorded this on this, so you can't just play that and it'll play through the slides. I don't recall how it exactly works though.
Okay, how about this? Can you guys hear it?
Yes, I can hear it.
Okay,
We can
thank
hear it,
you.
it's just it didn't play the whole thing. Because that's apparently not the whole speech. It looks
No,
like it.
absolutely. I had while you guys were where wasn't on here, this was playing quite nicely actually. And so let's try this.
For this project, Josh and I decided to do the Temple of Zeus located at Olympia. So it first started construction.
You guys hear that?
It's really quiet. I can barely hear it.
Yeah, you might have to turn the volume up. This is
had been destroyed at 426 BC. The total height for the temple is 68 feet, which is roughly translated to 20.7 meters. Total size for technical detail is 230 by 95 feet, which translates to roughly 70 by 29 meters. The architect is Livin, who designed it, and some other designers are Paeonius and Alchemy. This temple is located in Olympia, Greece, and it roughly took 13 years to complete. Olympia is located to the left of Athens and down below, south of Greece. So some of the power and belief systems for the temple. Obviously, it was dedicated to the Greek god Zeus. A little bit more about the cultural aspects of the Greeks. The gods were very important to them. They tried to appease their gods as much as they can through the uses of sacrifice. The temple was also created because it was made to host the Olympic Games. Not the actual event, however. Olympic Games were meant to honor the gods, but with also having festivals and enforcing stronger relationships among the Greek cities. This was a temple dedicated to Zeus since he was the king of all the gods of the Greek culture. So this showed a sign of unity when all the Greek cities competed against each other in the games. more backstory on how the temple, or when the temple was technically built. The temple was built in the second quarter of the 5th century of BCE. This was the very first model of the fully developed classical Greek temple of the Doric order. The Temple of Zeus was built on an already ancient religious site at Olympia, the Altus, an enclosure with a sacred grove, open-air altars, and the tumulus of Philippus. This was first formed during the 10th and 9th centuries of BCE, also known as the Greek Dark Ages, when the followers of Zeus had joined with the followers of Hera. So, some of the architectural features of the temple include the temple was a perpetual form with a frontal pronaos, which is also known as a porch. This mirrored by a similar arrangement at the back of the building. And the building sat on a crepidoma, which is also called a platform, of 3 unequal steps. The exterior columns were positioned in a 6 by 13 arrangement. 2 rows of 7 columns divided by a cella, also known as the interior, into 3 aisles. An echo of the temple's original appearance can be seen in the second temple of Hera at Paestum, which closely followed its form. So a little bit more of a formal analysis. The tall and massive pillars represent many different things, such as the gods themselves surrounding the statue of Zeus, which shows unity amongst the gods. The height also shows the strong and taller than men. So this was also held the statue of Zeus. It held a scepter in his left hand and also a winged victory in his right. His presence shows, obviously presence, and rule and law. He is the highest up you can go. He is there to make sure unity is kept. So the temple also housed the renowned statue of Zeus, which was one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. The statue was approximately 13 meters high, or 43 feet. It was made by the sculptor Phidias in his workshop on the site of Olympia. The statue's completion took roughly 13 years as well. It was being worked on during the time of the construction of the temple. It was also one of the Greeks' classical pieces. It was also a most revered artistic work of Phidias. The installation of the colossal statue coincided with substantial modifications of the cella. The internal columns and their stylobates were dismantled and repositioned, which likely necessitated retilting the roof. The original floor, paved with large blocks of shellstone, was covered with water-resistant lime, which may have helped protect the statue's ivory against humidity. So let's talk about the legacy aspects of the temple. This temple stands in the ruins, still honoring the chief of the gods, the very model of the fully developed classical Greek temple of the Doric order, and it also remains part of the Greek times, still today. It resembles and symbolizes the original Olympic Games and also holds the Greek faith. Some more about the subsequent history, however. The Roman general Mummius, dedicated 21 gilded shields after he sacked Corinth in 146 BCE. They were fixed at the midhopes of the eastern front side and the eastern half of the south side. Archaeologists have long postulated that the already ruined temple was destroyed by the earthquakes after death of 522 and 551. This was known to have caused widespread damage in the area, although a 2014 paper hypothesizes that the columns may have been intentionally pulled down by ropes. Flooding of the Clydeus, or by a tsunami, led to an abandonment of the area leading to the site being covered by alluvial deposits of up to 8 meters deep. And that is all we have for you. Thank you everyone for listening, and we hope that you have a great day.
Very good. What do you guys think? Any questions? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I'm just checking. So anyway, Grace, thanks for sending me the link on the chat. And my apologies for not getting it. Kind of what I'm thinking here is that this has been a learning experience for all of us, including me. And so we saw Stonehenge on Monday.
For our presentation, we
Oops.
chose Stonehenge.
Next.
For our presentation.
There it is. So let's take a look at there it is. And let's play.
Cultural context of the Erechtheum. Time and place. The Erechtheum, also known as the Erechtheion, is located north of the Acropolis of Athens in Greece. It was built between 421 and 406 BCE. Purpose of the work. It is an ancient Greek temple dedicated to Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war, and Poseidon, the god of the sea. It is also suggested that the temple was built for King Erechtheus, the ruler of Athens during the Archaic period, and local Greek heroes such as Eryxanis, Bouts, and Hephaestos, and other heroes, including other gods as well.
Oh, come on.
Pericles was in power, and he anointed Phidias as the mason and sculptor of the Erechtheion and Parthenon, as well as Menecles as potentially the architect. The belief system. The Greeks of Athens, the Athenians, were polytheistic, meaning they believed in multiple gods and goddesses. They would perform rituals, tell stories, and make sacrifices to their gods. The most common gods worshipped were the Olympian gods: Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, Demeter, Athena, Apollo, Artemis, Ares, Aphrodite, Hephaestus, Hermes, Hestia, and Dionysus. The Erechtheion was built in honor to glorify the Greek gods Athena, the goddess of wisdom and war, and Poseidon, the god of the sea, earthquakes, and horses. So we're going to start the formal analysis for the Erechtheion by talking about the architectural planning. The Erechtheion is parallel to the Parthenon, and it gives us this really nice structure to contrast it to. The Parthenon is a Doric structure, while the Erechtheion is an Ionic structure. And we can tell this by looking at the columns on the Erechtheion. Starting with the shaft of the column, these are fluted, which means they have these curved vertical detailings that go all the way around the column, as well as the volutes that are highlighted here. These are called scroll-like volutes, and you can obviously see why, because they have these circular motions that kind of look like a scroll that create these corners on the capital, which is usually the top portion of columns. There's also a lot of details or motifs On the capital, I'm going to highlight the egg and dart motif, which are these ball-like structures or rounded-like structures that look like an egg and they're tucked away with sort of like a dart. Even though this is on a column, you can also see the egg and dart motif on the molding of the structure, either on the exterior or interior. And there are also other detailings, a strip of detailing before the shaft starts. Ionic columns are also considered to be more feminine than that of the Doric structures or columns and the other designs of columns. And I think this is quite fitting since the temple is sort of dedicated to Athena. Next, we're going to talk about the sloped foundation that the Erechtheion holds. So the reason for this kind of layout is because it is sitting on a cliff, and also they also wanted to preserve the site of the old temple to Athena while they were building this. So they had to kind of compromise with an asymmetrical layout. The reason I say asymmetrical is usually like the Parthenon, structures are usually.
Oops.
So we're going to start the formal analysis.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So we're going to start the formal analysis for the Erechtheion by talking about the arc, which kind of made it sort of like this triangle that kind of grounds it to where it is, and also it plays on preserving other sites as well. So we're going to continue the formal analysis by talking about the content and significance of the everything that are in the rooms of the Erechtheion. From left to right, we're going to talk about the Patricium, which holds the sacred olive tree, which was gift from Athena to the city of Athens. This tree is believed to have healing properties and bring good fortune. But since the walls of the Patricium have fallen, though they did stand in one point in time, or believed to stand in one point in time, the tree is exposed. So if you go to Erechtheion today, you'll be able to see the tree, even though it looks like it's on the exterior of the structure, it was inside at one point. In the northern temple, there are believed to be marks from the trident of Poseidon that tap into the salt springs that lead to the Erechtheion Sea. There's quite a story that goes on as to why there are markings and other markings by gods onto this temple that deal with the former king Orpheus and Poseidon. So we're going to move on to the eastern part of the temple. In this layout, it shows that this part is kind of cut off from the other rooms in the Erechtheion. It's believed that the whole eastern part of the Erechtheion, though it is part of the structure, is actually named separately the Athenopolis, which roughly translates to being Athena being the protector of this temple and essentially all of Athens. This room held the olive wood statue of Athena, which is also another sacred statue that the Greeks had treasured and idealized over the years. But we're going to move on to the north porch, and in the north porch there is an opening in the ceiling and also a hole in the floor, and this is believed to where Zeus struck down on King Erechtheus. So I can talk about this right now that we've covered all the markings on this temple. King Erechtheus was considered to be the human form of the god Poseidon. A lot of people also considered him to be a demigod because he was able to kill one of Poseidon's son, which is why Zeus had struck down on him to pay him back for that. North porch also is supported by 6 columns that are like the columns in the other porches besides the carotid porch, which has the unique columns I will explain in the next slide. But the carotid porch holds the grave of Cecrops, which is a local hero and also the brother of Erechtheus. So we're going to continue the formal analysis by talking about so these are just replicas, and it is also important to highlight that most of this structure were painted or had a lot of color to them before they were worn down. You can also see in the bottom left corner again, at the top of the structure near the molding is an off color from that of the stone that is used in the rest of the building. This is actually blue marble, and that contrasted a lot of the structure of the Erechtheum. So I kind of admire this whole piece because it has a lot of contrast, but also a lot of things that play into it architecturally. It was very well thought out, even though a lot of parts had to be replaced or renewed and some parts are standing. It has a lot of history and story behind it, which is why I chose to research on this piece. I like how the columns are sort of like sculptures that I can talk about, even though it is a part of architecture as well. I think that's what I wanted to highlight in this project. And yeah, I believe that this is a great project to research on, and I enjoyed finding out about detail and about certain processes that go through recreating or examining structures like these.
Very good. Very good. And let me get back to, let's see, share screen. There we are. Share. And so any questions? No questions. You guys still there?
Yeah, we're still here.
Okay. And apparently you hear me too. Very good. Let's take a look at what Portia and Peter put together.
Hi, I'm Peter.
And I'm Portia, and our presentation is over Chimera of Arezzo.
Here is a photo of the Chimera of Arezzo, the body of a lion, the tail of a serpent, and the goat's head coming out of the side. The art of sculpture created in 399 BC. Material. What the Chimera of Arezzo was made of. The statue was made entirely of bronze and measuring 78.5 centimeters high. With a length of 129 centimeters, it was found alongside a small collection of other bronze statues in Arezzo, an ancient Etruscan and Roman city in Tuscany. The statue was originally part of a larger sculptural group representing a fight between a chimera and the Greek hero Bellerophon. This sculpture was likely created as a votive offering to the Etruscan god Tynia.
The central purpose of this extraordinary bronze masterpiece involves a fierce depiction of a chimera, which is a Greek monster with the head and body of a lion and the tail of a serpent. On the left side of the chimera's body, a goat's head emerges, as you can see. As a result of being slayed by the Greek hero Bellerophon, bruises seeping forth blood lie along the goat's neck. Despite being violently attacked, the chimera's facial expression shows that it is still driven with great courage to continue fighting back. Chimera of Arezzo was cast from bronze sometime during the 4th century BCE. It was later discovered during the 16th century in the year of 1553 CE in Arezzo, Italy. During that time period, fortifications or walls were being constructed throughout the city during the rule of Cosimo de' Medici, who was the Grand Duke of Tuscany at the time. The statue was discovered in a trench alongside many small figure statues. The 16th century was known to be a time period when society took great interest in Etruscan culture. Chimera of Arezzo could have most likely been a contributing work which sparked the overall curiosity and interest of the subject matter.
Where the Chimera of Arezzo is displayed today. It was discovered near the Porta San Laurentino of Arezzo, Italy, ancient Arretium. In 1553, the statue was added to the collection of Cosimo de' Medici, Grand Duke of Tuscany in the 16th century, and is currently housed in National Archaeological Museum in Florence, Italy.
According to Greek mythology, Typhon and Echidna, who were both partial human and partial snake creatures, came together to give birth to the chimera. Some versions of Greek mythology state that the chimera was raised by Amasidarus, who was a king of Caria. Bellerophon attacked and killed the creature when being challenged to do so by Iobates, who was the king of Lycia. The son of Poseidon, along with his winged horse named Pegasus, assisted in the process of killing by stabbing the chimera with a spear.
History and legacy of the piece. The Chimera of Arezzo is regarded as the best example of ancient Etruscan artwork. British art historian David described the sculpture as one of the most arresting of all animal sculptures and the supreme masterpiece of Etruscan bronze casting.
The chimera's front right leg lies an inscription reading Ten Civil, meaning gift to 10. Short for Tania, who was an Etruscan god. Tania served as the supreme deity of the Etruscan pantheon. The offerings given to him were either from one asking for help or thanking him for his help.
My opinion on the sculpture. In my opinion, the piece is very interesting to look at. When you first look at it, you see the lion, then you notice the serpent as the tail, then you see the goat coming out of the side. The piece interested me because I enjoy Greek mythology. I suggested this piece to my partner Peter because I enjoyed researching it when I used it for a previous test.
This piece was suggested by my group member, Portia. Having little to no time to research for topics, I decided to agree to settle on this one. Personally, I find the subject of the chimera of Arezzo to be highly compelling. The fierce roar of the chimera as it is ready to attack illustrates exciting, intense action that draws the viewer inward and engages them thoroughly. In addition to that, I find the overall concept of a chimera to be fascinating. A lion with a serpent for a tail makes for a physical appearance that is both striking and creative. Overall, I've always found creatures of Greek mythology to be highly interesting and unique.
And these are our citations.
And let's see. Okay, here. And now let's see if I can get to where we want to be. There we are. Very good. What do you guys think? Any questions? Not talking, eh? Well, I thought it was pretty good. I thought all of these were pretty good, and I'm thinking that, yeah, it's 1:15. Let's take a look at the Great Wall, and I think that'll be the last one for today.
Hello, this is Dorian and Brandon, and today we'll be presenting over the Great Wall of China. So just to provide a brief introduction,
Can you hear it?
the Great Wall of China
See
is
it?
the largest man-made project
Yeah.
in the world, running for over 13,000 miles across the northern border of China. It is a series of fortifications made up of things like barriers, towers, barracks, and fortresses. However, about 1/4 of its total length consists solely of natural barriers, which are things like rivers and mountains. It wasn't constructed all at once. It was actually constructed over many different eras, the most prominent being the Qin, Han, and Ming dynasty, which we'll cover later in this presentation. And it was built over the course of about 2,500 years, from roughly the 7th century BC all the way up to the 1800s. And although it wasn't constructed constantly for this entire period, those are the beginning and ending dates. This map does a good job of demonstrating the sheer scale of the wall as it stretches from the west in Gansu all the way to Hushan Mountain in the east. As the wall is 13,000 miles, it actually takes up the majority of northern border in China, which you can see in the bottom right map, showing its size on a global scale. So the first dynasty that really started building the wall was the Qin dynasty. Although before the Qin dynasty, 7 powerful states had previously built walls to protect themselves, it wasn't until 221 BC where the first Qin dynasty emperor unified China and connected all of the walls together, as well as removing barriers between the different states to create one connected structure. He also extended the northern barrier to defend from invaders, which you can see in the map on the bottom right. However, after the fall of the Qin dynasty, it was left largely unmanned. That is, until the Han dynasty. The Han dynasty was the next most prominent dynasty to work on the wall. It was strengthened by the Han Emperor Wudi, and was originally done to protect themselves from the Xiongnu, which were nomadic people from the Eurasian steppe. The wall's safety also had another effect, guaranteeing the safety of traders, meaning that it caused the growth of the Silk Roads. That means that this wall was not only for defense, but also served for trade and travel. He also made many improvements to the wall, these being things like beacons, towers, forts, and castles set up along the length of the wall. And as you can see in the bottom right, the wall is significantly longer than it was during the Qin Dynasty. So before we go any further, we'd just like to quickly summarize why we chose to present over the Great Wall of China. For me personally, I just thought it was a very, very unique piece of architecture and quite a feat of human engineering, as it was constructed over the course of thousands of years and it runs for thousands of miles across China. It also holds a great deal of cultural significance, so I thought that would be interesting to research. And I also wanted to research it because there's many, many credible sources, as the entire construction of the Great Wall of China has been very well documented throughout history, as it's been such a prominent symbol and such a prominent piece of architecture over the course of human development. And now I'd like to hand it off to Brandon.
All right, so this is why me and my partner chose our project, Great Wall of China. So we chose it basically to summarize because we were both trying to come up with ideas. I really did not have a great idea for the project, at least one that I thought that we would both enjoy. So when my partner brought up the idea for Great Wall of China, I thought it was a great idea because history is always something I found interesting. Not exactly like American history, but like outside countries' history that I haven't heard as much about, I guess. And then Great Wall of China, I feel like it's always just interesting because, for one, the sheer manpower and size it takes to build a project, I believe it's just enough to get anyone interested. And then the purpose of the wall was to defend the country from outside military attacks. So just the history of them expanding and then having to defend themselves from the territory they took, pretty much. And then just the amount of people the project took to complete. The project was done over 2,000 years. So that just means dynasty after dynasty, like so many people were just committed to building the Great Wall of China. So that's a summary. So back to presentation. The Ming Dynasty. Ming Dynasty was from 1368 to 1644 AD. And despite the long history of the Great Wall of China, most of its construction was done during the Ming Dynasty. After driving the Mongols back to the northern grasslands, the dynasty decided to build a wall of self-protection. So again, they're out trying to expand that, build a wall for self-protection. The wall the Ming Dynasty built spreads 5,500 miles, with 223 miles of that being trenches. So they contributed to the wall pretty much the most out of any other dynasty. Cultural significance. The Great Wall is a powerful symbol. It symbolizes both the manifestation of China's power as well as the unification of China. So China's power, basically, the resources that it takes to build a wall so massive, and then unification of China, just everyone coming together again over many years, coming together to build a one project pretty much. It has inspired so many historical paintings, poems, operas, stories, and legends. Much of today's paintings, decor, photography, and postcards are evolved around the Great Wall of China. So again, still today, a project so massive has a lasting impact on China's culture today. And then the last slide, legacy. This wall brings millions of tourists to China each year. Again, still today, millions of people are coming each year to China just to see the Great Wall. It represents the amazing ability of Chinese people to come together to build such a project. Again, the sheer size of the project, the amount of people it took, again, it's just impressive. Something that I don't think's ever been done before. And then the wall is also a powerful symbol of power that China possesses. Again, the amount of resources, the manpower, the ability to come together like that is a very powerful symbol that I don't think you've ever seen before. Thank you.
Well, guys, there we go. I thought they were pretty good. Do you guys think so?
Yeah, I thought they were good too.
Good. Yeah, I'm really very happy with what you guys have done. And I think that, see, it's almost 1:30. Couple of things. We'll do the last three presentations on Monday, which is Grace and Brady for the Parthenon. Let's see. Grace, Amanda, and Grace for the Coliseum. And Natalie and Daphne for the calf bearer. And now that I got everything straight on this end, we'll play those three. Look forward to that. And as you might have seen on the syllabus, is that we have the final quiz on Monday. And so we'll look at the three PowerPoint presentations, and then I'll give you the quiz. The quiz will be about these presentations. And I have kind of a preliminary set of questions I'm not ready to share with you, but it has to do with what are the best ways to put this together? Which one of these did you like best? So on and so on. And partly, I gotta say, you guys have been very patient. We've, on both ends, you and I have been trying to work our way through how to get this done. This is very different from anything that I have had to do ever. I've taught online before, but I've never quite been this ambitious. And so how to get the files, how to make the files, how to get them so I can show them to you on Zoom, et cetera, et cetera. And so anyway, I want to hear what you have to say about this whole process, and that'll be the question. And as usual, I'll give you ample time to fill that out, probably until Tuesday night, midnight. And then on Wednesday, I got kind of a wrap-up presentation that I'd like to share with you. And it's going to be kind of about the chapters that we didn't get to. And it is about the arts of Asia, Africa, and the Americas. So there's a lot there, way too much for just one class period, but there are a couple of themes I want to touch on, and it relates to what we've studied and the stuff that you presented. And so I'll try to tie that up on Wednesday, and then we're done. And so, any questions? Well, in that case,
Wait, I have one question. So,
what is it, Peter? I knew you'd have one. What is?
sorry.
Yeah, you're all right. I like your questions.
So, I didn't see Portia and I's video playing.
You didn't?
No.
Did you other guys see it?
No.
Oh, man. Well, I saw it on this end and it should have been shared. Well, I'll play that on Monday then too.
So no comprehensive final.
No.
So is the quiz on next week our final.
Well, there is no real final. There are 6 quizzes. The presentation and participation. That's pretty much what the grade will be on. And if you want some clarification, that's all in the syllabus, by the way.
Can you go back to the first slide that has everybody's name on it so we can see what they did, just so we can remember?
Oh, yeah, I'm exactly. Well, I'm real sorry didn't see Portia and Peter. That was
I should have said something.
well, it's taken a little while for my computer to keep up with all of this clicking. We're getting close. And there. And so what I'll do too is I'll put this PowerPoint on the module too. Will that work, Megan?
Yes, that'll be fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, stay safe. Hey, I wanted to just say this too. They're really close to delivering a vaccine for this hideous COVID virus. And I'm not sure that we'll have normal classes at the beginning of the spring, but if things work out, hopefully, maybe by midterm or something, we can come back to campus and have a regular college experience. And so anyway, thanks for sticking with it. Thanks for keeping yourself safe. And I'll see you on Monday.
Bye.
Bye. Have a nice weekend.
Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.